Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today, we're finally sharing with you our very first tutorial related to Photobooth. So, as you can see, we are using DSLRBOOTH software for our events. I think this software is most friendly amongst the rest of the softwares based on the reviews that we've read. So, if you like this kind of videos and if you like us to share more about DSLR boot software, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to keep updated on the future videos that we'll be uploading. So this is the screen that will appear once you opened the software and once you've inputted the serial number when you buy the standard edition. So I'm currently using the standard edition. I'm not sure about the price of this software right now, but I'm gonna put the link where you can buy the software in the description box below. This is actually a dashboard that will appear before you can start the program, or you can manipulate the template that you're gonna use. So here we have our save events right now. We only have one because um, we haven't saved the previous events that we had. And then in this area, all the setup that we've made for this event, it's for Anna's birthday. So we're gonna make a new event. It's like we're gonna start from scratch. So we're gonna click this one, name of the event. What would you like to call it? Let's make it Anna's wedding. So let's we should click customize settings because we haven't set up the whole template and everything else that comes with it yet. So when you click the customize settings, this will appear in your screen. So there are a lot of things that you can actually set up before you can launch the event. But let's make this simple this time. I'm gonna use a setup just for photo, no GIF, no video, and no sharing of photos afterwards. So it's like when somebody operates your photo booth, they will just click it or tap the screen, and then after they do, they will pose for four poses, and then afterwards, the photo booth will print. So for general settings, mostly you don't need to change anything here. In the booth mode, make sure that you don't click the GIF boomerang in video because we wanted to set up photo only. So what does create GIF with photos mean? It means that if you set up four photos to capture the in an event, the four photos will be saved as a GIF, but it's aside from the photo that will be saved as JPEG. So one one routine of Photobooth will have two files on it, the GIF and the photo. And in this area, we can write the security pin, but for now, we won't complicate things. We'll just leave it blank. And then for the directories, we choose the folder. Um, this is the folder where all the photos will be saved, and we're gonna save the prints. Originals means, regardless of the template, the original pictures without the template will be saved. So if the client doesn't require this, you don't have to save this. So we're just gonna click prints. So just in case they wanted to reprint, you can actually have the soft copies with you. For camera settings, let's click the auto trigger and then enable webcams. But for this portion, you can disable this actually, because of course you won't be running your photo booth using your webcam. But it, this is not a major issue. You can click or unclick this. And then for the audio, you actually don't need this because you won't be needing the webcam. For live view, the live view means before the guest will start posing, they will see themselves like it's a mirror. They can see themselves from the screen. So if you will not enable this, they will just assume that they can fit in the screen. But ideally, you should ideally you should turn this on. And mirror image is just like taking a selfie. The rotation is actually for the is another settings if you wanted to a portrait style or your camera is upside down. You can explore more of this, but for now we will not be discussing about this yet. And yeah, let's just click this one. For the display settings, I recommend not to start the app in full screen because you want it because as an operator of the photo booth, you have to review all the settings first before you actually start the running running the templates. So it's better not to start in full screen. And the background color, the primary color, you can explore this one later on, but for now let's leave it that as is. And for the start screen image, um, usually we put an image. It's like it's like a cover page in a book. So for you to appreciate what this is, I have prepared an image here that we can use. So the start screen image is an image you can see before you can actually start running each session. So the guest would know if they need to tap the screen or how many poses are there or what's the event. It's like it's like a cover page of the book. But what I used is just an image that says made in USA, just for example's sake. So for the stretch to fill screen with cropping, template. Um, for me, I wouldn't allow them to choose templates from favorites because I only have one template for this one. And then I'm gonna unclick that one. Uh, the unlock button, I will just do it like that. And then for the capture screen, ideally we have 4 photos in per session. So before the first photo will take, this is the countdown settings. So they suggested it's 5, so let's leave it that way. And for each of the next photos, it's still 5 seconds. 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and 3 seconds for it's gonna display the result of the photo of the session. And the countdown color, you can change this actually, but it depends on the template that you're gonna use. So temporarily we'll use red because it's visible. Crop live view is just a view at the bottom. And then let's leave everything else as is. For the effects, let's turn this off. For the GIF, we won't be using GIF this time. For the video, we won't be using this one too. For the visual assistant, you can actually explore more of this, but for now, let's not explore this yet. Survey and for sharing, um, I wouldn't enable this first because I don't want the guest operating the templates or choosing the template that they want. I just want them to just tap the screen and start the session and wait for the printout to come out. So I'm gonna click this. I will not enable sharing. And for printing, let's configure. So I'm using Epson L805 series. So I'm gonna print. So we can configure the printer. And some actually use a secondary printer because it's depending on the event. But for me, I'm just gonna use one printer. And then you can click this one. You can print a test page so that you can set up your printer. Just minimize that and wait for it to finish. And then for printer, yes, you have to print each session automatically. Show print button allows on touch press to print or multiple additional copies. Usually, I don't allow my guests to print multiple copies because it will it will make each session longer, and I don't want the queue to be long. I want to minimize the crowd or the traffic in the photo booth. And this one is applicable if you're using a secondary printer. And then auto rotate to fit. Usually I just leave this check mark here, and you can actually limit prints, but I wouldn't enable this one because I did not allow additional copies to be printed. And the rest will be as is. And for the language, of course, it's English, and the rest, I don't really change any of this settings here, and let's click the save. So you notice that the image that appeared here is made in USA. As I mentioned earlier, this is the start screen image that I chose, but ideally, you have to have an image that says tap the screen to start, or push the button to start, or click the mouse to start. It's like that, so that the guest would know what to do to start the session. But for this one, um, I'm using a laptop for tutorial sake, and I'm using a mouse. So I'm just gonna left click my mouse anywhere in the screen to start the session.
Get ready.
And yeah, you noticed we have four images, and
Last
this
one.
and this gray feature actually is my webcam. I turn it off, but
Okay, smile.
you can actually see yourself. That's the use of the live view settings earlier.
Say cheese.
And this red countdown is the one we set up earlier too.
Ooh, looking
So
good. Share your
we have
photos.
we have 3 seconds to see this template, and the GIF will appear at the bottom. And we can click done to close or finish the session, but this also means it's a countdown. When the blue reaches this part, then it's finished. Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't know if you heard, but this session already printed using my printer, and there's no picture in it. So in this area at the right top portion, we have two webcams here. But if you're gonna install a if you're gonna install a camera, it will appear as one of the options here. So usually I use Canon camera, but feel free to browse DSLR Booth website to see what are the compatible cameras for this software. There are a lot to choose from, and it's really like It's just a plug and play. Just use a cord and plug it in the USB of your laptop or your Microsoft Surface, and boom, it will appear here. But since we're not connecting anything yet, that's why the webcam is our only choice. And for the event, we have two events here, but I didn't really manipulated any of this yet. So what we used earlier is Anna's wedding, but um, this one is also a template that I used, but it doesn't have a start screen image. So for Anna's wedding, this template has a start screen image. And in this area, we have the settings. This is the one we explored earlier. Let me open it. Yeah, it's the same thing. For the template, we can manipulate the template. So I'm going to click this one. And these are the layers of the template. So we have photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, and photo 4. It means the guest can have 4 poses. And this one, I just added this. I'm gonna make another video tutorial on how to make a template, a very simple template without the use of Adobe Photoshop. Let's just use the DSLRBOOTH software. It's actually doable. It's just that your editing options are limited, but it's possible. And it's really easy. But for now, I just use this one, and just let's familiarize with the dashboard as well. The image means if you add another one here, automatically it's so here the image. If you have an image that you want to put, for example, the event is a wedding and there are prenup photos that you want to add in the template, you're gonna click that one to upload the image into the template that you're gonna use. And for photo from Photobooth, I'm gonna click this, it's gonna count 5. It means it's the fifth pose. If I'm gonna delete that, I'm gonna click delete. So I'm gonna I'm left with 4 poses here. For text, you can add text here. Let's just say 23, 21, and you can move it everywhere. So here, the layout, you have the pixels, the paper size. We're using 4 by 6 because I'm just using the standard edition of the DSLRBOOTH software. And in this area, let's keep the aspect ratio. Here, there are a lot of settings or options that you can do. And the layers, this is very important. You have to familiarize this because if you're not using Adobe Photoshop yet, it's quite unfamiliar to you, but this is how it works. Um, this eye feature here, if you click this one, it means hide. Let's try it. So let's hide everything. That's the use of the eye icon. You will hide everything. But if you're gonna click this, so it's gonna show. I'm gonna click everything back. Its place. So the layout of these layers are actually the layout of the layering here. So whatever is at the bottom of the layers tab, it will be in the bottom of the template itself. For example, the date is on top of every layer that we have. If I'm gonna put this behind Anna or under Anna, nothing changes because no one is on top of no anyone. If I'm gonna move it I move it down, another step down, no changes. If I'm gonna move it again, no changes because the married couple layer is right here, still the same because this layer is not on the same level with this one. But if I'm gonna move it another layer down, you notice that the 4, which is on top of this date here in the layers tab, is already on top here in our template. So that's how it works. That's how layering works. I hope you got it. So for this area, we can edit a lot of things for this template, but as mentioned, I will be discussing that in our next video. So if you're satisfied with the design with the template, no need to save this. It automatically saves the template. You just have to open Photobooth and it will go back in this window and you can start your session just what we did earlier. And yeah, that's it for now. I hope you are already familiarized with the buttons that you can find in the DSLR software. And I hope that you learned a lot, or if not a lot, you learned a thing or a thing here in our tutorial. So I'll be seeing you in our next tutorial when I hope you learned a thing or two in our tutorial and I will be seeing you. I hope you learned a thing or two in our tutorial and I will be seeing you next time again. We will have an in-depth tutorial making a template using DSLRBOOTH software without any Adobe Photoshop experience needed. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment in our video, or suggest any content that you want, and of course, click the notification bell. Thank you so much. Thank you and bye.